हरिः कर्ता।
So we have seen how to read and write tabular data from any format into the data frame and from data frame to the into the any format. So now let's look into more advanced concepts. Okay, we will see how do I select a subset of data frame. A subset. It could be a column, it could be a row, or it could be particular columns, or it could be particular rows, or it could be a subset of column and rows. So we will see all these kind of permutations and combinations here. Let's begin with how do I select specific columns from a database. So here when I'm talking about specific columns, here this is my data frame, a data which is held inside a frame of certain shape, certain number of rows and certain number of columns, and out of this whole data frame I want to take a number 2 series or number 2 column and then number 4. Here you see that these two series I want to take. I want to extract only these two columns or these two series. So for that what we have to do, we have to know the series label of both the series, number 2 and number 4. If you know the series, we can do the indexing. Okay, we will do that. So let me get into my directory and there I will open, yeah, and shift plus mouse right click and click on open PowerShell window here. So clear the screen first and then just type Jupyter notebook. Click enter and yes, that's it. Your Jupyter notebook. This is called notebook dashboard and these are all files are there in your directory. So what I'm gonna do is I will click on new Python 3 kernel, IPython kernel, and here I will name it as subsectioning, and then that's okay, or subsectioning or sectioning, whatever you want, and then rename it. As usual, we have to import the pandas package. We'll import it as and we'll import with a name called with an alias name pd. So import pandas as pd and let me click on shift enter. That's okay, and let me click on shift enter. So yes, that's it. So the pandas has been imported. So now what I'm gonna do is, so let's read the data first, and then once we read the tabular data as a data frame, once we convert a CSV tabular data into data frame, then we will go for the another step. So what I'm gonna do here is I will say this is users and pd dot So I'll go with R, yeah, read CSV, and then parenthesis. Inside that I have to give the location of the data. So I have it in the same location. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just simply type the file name. So let me /tab, and here you should see that users.xlsx user.csv. So let me click on just user data.csv and remove this information. It's no more required now. So now let me click on yes. With this one command, the tabular format, the tabular data in user data.csv has been converted into users. So let's cross check that. Let me say users and execute it, and here is our data frame. You can see that clearly. It exactly looks like this. You see that? This is our complete data frame, out of which we want to specifically select a certain types of columns. So let me get there, back to the work. So we want to select a column, a specific columns from data frame. So what somebody, let's take, I'm a lead and my manager, he wants to know the age of the passengers, because this data belongs to Titanic. This is a Titanic data, a Titanic passengers data information. So he wants to know the age of the passengers who had traveled on Titanic ship. So wants to know the age of the, so age of the, so the question from my manager is what's the age of the passengers. Okay, mark down 3. So how can I get it? You can see that clearly if you just come here. This is our data frame. In this data frame, it's clearly you can see a age series, a series with age label. We need to fetch this. So how can we do that? It's pretty simple. We have to use, to select a single column, just a single column, we have to use indexing concept. Use square brackets with the column name or of the column of interest, column name of the column of the interest. So let's do that. For me, I want passenger age, so I'll say pass age. Okay, that's a shortcut. Data frame, another data frame with the pass age. It will only consist of passenger age series. So what I'm gonna do is, what's my users, yes, users data frame, and then index the users data frame for a series, for age series. So what's that? It's age, capital A G, and let me execute it. And here you should see pass age data frame ready. Here it is. You see that? So total 890. I think length is 891. One is null. Okay, here you can see that one is NaN is mentioned. and a float type. It's a float type one. That's the complete information about that. But that's how we select a specific column. So each column in a data frame, this is the main data frame. Each column in a data frame is a series. As a single column is selected, the returned object is a pandas series. So that's what we got here is a pandas series. So you can check that. So it's a series. Clearly it's series. So we can verify this by using by just typing using the type of this clearly. Okay, by using the type object and then mentioning the respective entity in the parenthesis. Okay, because it's a single one, it's called a series. Simple. It's a single column, it's a series. So now if you want to check, I just want to have a look at the shape of the output. So how can I do that? So simple, really simple. Let's take the pass edge and dot shape attribute. Pass edge so or else let me take this shape dot shape and execute it. Okay, okay, let me reload the kernel. Still it's processing, it's taking some time, it's busy. Yeah, it's still busy. So let me either refresh it. It's reloading the kernel. Yeah, type. Let me restart everything from the beginning. Yeah, it's busy. Yeah, all done. So now what I'm gonna do is I'll take a pass edge and dot and dot and shape. Yeah, you got the shape. Complete it, auto complete it by clicking tab and execute it, and here you should see 891 rows and only one column. That's it. It's a single series. Obviously you won't get one column because it's not a data frame, it's a series. It's series. Okay, so data frame dot shape is an attribute. So it's an attribute of a pandas series and data frame and containing the number of rows and columns. Obviously, a pandas series is one dimensional and only the number of rows is returned. Here you can see it is one dimensional. Absolutely, this is one dimensional. Forget about this indexing. Indexing is default, so it consists of only rows. So if you write it into a matrix, and what could be this, it's just simply rows. It's one by one. It's like only you'll have a rows and no columns. So that's why it's a one dimensional. Whereas if you see this matrix, this is two dimensional. You will have a lot of columns and lot of rows. We can represent it in matrix format also. So passenger ID, these are all rows and the values inside that will be columns. So this will be 891 times 12. Okay, this is the matrix size. So this is two dimensional. A data frame is two dimensional and and series is one dimensional. So now just want to have more information. My manager wants to have more information. So he's interested in the age and sex of the Titanic passengers, both. So wants to know what is the age and sex of the passengers in the Titanic. Okay, so for that, it's pretty simple. We have to use both, but this time, how can we do that? We will use the indexing as usual, but how can we do that? So now we have to use a list of columns that we want to fetch specifically. Okay, so here I want to fetch this column or this series and this series also. So these are the two series I want to fetch. This is the final output, so I'm gonna get the data frame. So for that, what I am gonna do, I'm gonna take a list of these series labels, these two series labels, and then I will index it using that list. Let's do that. So this time I'll say age as well as sex, and pandas, sorry, users dot, sorry, users, and indexing, the square bracket has been given. Now I have to attach a list inside that. So what's the first one? Series, the first series label is age, and the second series label is sex. And let me execute it. So our age sex data frame, let's check that what it is. It's age, and here is that it's clearly data frame because it's two-dimensional. It's a two-dimensional. So let me look into that what we got, and here is that clearly a two-dimensional table, a two-dimensional one, which is a data frame. It's a two-dimensional matrix with two columns and 891 rows. So 891 by 2 matrix. That's what we got. It's a two-dimensional matrix and it's a data frame. So simply to select multiple columns, use a list of column names or list of series labels with the selection brackets, which are square brackets. So the inner square brackets define a Python list with a column names, whereas the outer brackets are used to select the data from a pandas data frame as seen in this example on your screen. Okay, so this is, we can see the type of the returned data. It's clearly two-dimensional matrix and it's a data frame. It's a clearly data frame. And do you want to see the shape? Just to, here we got the shape at the end, but still if you want to see the shape, let me take the age and sex and then let me type shape and execute it. And here is that a two-dimensional matrix with the size of 891 rows and two columns. Very big matrix. Okay, so it's a two-dimensional with both a row and a column dimensions. Both dimensions it has.